The old mansion stood alone at the edge of the forest, its windows like hollow eyes staring out into the night. Elizabeth had always heard stories about the place, tales of strange noises, shadows that moved on their own, and a voice that whispered in the dark. But she didn't believe in ghosts. Not until she spent the night there. It was midnight when Elizabeth stepped into the mansion. The air inside was thick with dust, and every creak of the floor echoed loudly. She switched on her flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness. The silence was unnerving. Suddenly, she heard a soft thud from upstairs. Her heart skipped a beat. She paused, waiting to hear it again. Nothing. Elizabeth shook her head and smiled nervously. "Probably just an old house settling," she whispered to herself. But as she climbed the staircase, the sound came again, louder this time, closer. She reached the landing, her breath quickening. The corridor stretched out before her, lined with doors, each one slightly ajar. Then came a voice, a faint whisper, just behind her. Elizabeth froze. Her blood ran cold. Turning slowly, she found nothing but the empty hallway behind her. Yet, the whisper had been unmistakable, her name spoken softly, intimately. With trembling hands, she opened the first door. The room was empty. She moved to the next. Empty again. Each door she opened revealed nothing but dust and decay. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The whisper came again, this time clearer, "Elizabeth, come." Her heartbeat thundered in her chest. She backed away from the door, but the whisper followed her. The air around her grew colder. The shadows in the corners of the room seemed to stretch, reaching for her. Suddenly, the door at the end of the hall slammed shut. Elizabeth gasped, turning toward it. She knew, somehow, that whatever was calling her was behind that door. But she couldn't move. Her legs felt like lead. The door creaked open, just a crack. And from the darkness inside, two glowing eyes stared back at her. A low growl echoed through the hall. She wanted to scream, but no sound escaped her lips. The last thing she heard before everything went black was the voice whispering one final time, "You're mine now." The next morning, the mansion stood silent once more, as if nothing had ever happened.